Now let's talk about goal setting. Going back to that prominent literature, the psychology and popular literature again, we can hear some of these themes start to emerge. The goal should be significant, we are told. It should be inspirational. It should be aggressive yet realistic. Well, okay, that's all fine and good, but let's get semi-quantitative about this. Let's at least get biological about this. How inspirational does it need to be? Does it need to be the kind of thing that is so inspiring to me that I can't sleep at all? Well, that wouldn't be good because I believe, and I know many of you have heard me say many, many times before, regular deep sleep, 80% or more of the nights that you go to sleep is going to be crucial to your cognitive and mental functioning and your ability to achieve your goals in the long term. That's absolutely clear. So it's got to be inspirational and exciting, but what does that really look like? And what does that correspond to? And how do we actually make that happen? Well, once again, there is a mismatch between what the real data show and what we're most often told. Turns out that, again, work in Balcetis lab, but also other laboratories, has addressed whether or not the probability of achieving a goal goes up or down depending on whether or not one visualizes or sets a goal that is easy, moderate, or impossible. Okay, an impossible goal would be, for instance, if I say, I'm going to jump from my front driveway all the way up to the road. The road's quite a distance away. It's more than 20 meters away. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen in this lifetime. It's not going to happen in any other lifetime, not unless it involves some elaborate technology that I'm not aware of, a jetpack or something like that. It's just not going to happen, right? An easy goal would be something like, can you jump, or could I jump, 2 feet in front of me? Obviously, yes. Okay, now I'm using a trivial example here, but this could be translated to any kind of goal, school goal, physical goal, etc. Turns out that when people set goals, whether or not they are nutritional goals, eat more of this or eat less of that, whether or not they're fitness goals, run more, lift more, or some other goal, swim less, swim more, whatever it is their goal happens to be, some learning goal, some relationship goal, some attempt to modify their behavior, turns out that if the goal is too easy, it's too within reach, it doesn't recruit enough of the autonomic nervous system to make pursuit of that goal likely. Now that might be surprising, at least it was surprising to me. You think, well, something is really, really easy, there's a very low bar to achieve it, people are probably more likely to do it. But it turns out that's not the case. When we hear that a goal needs to be inspirational, what do we mean? When we hear that something's too easy to recruit our action, what do we mean? Well, Balcetis lab measured systolic blood pressure and found that when goals were too easy for people to attain, they didn't get that increase in systolic blood pressure and recruitment of the other neural and vascular systems, meaning the blood systems and the nervous system, that would place them into ongoing effort. And so they quickly gave up. Also, if a goal was too lofty, if it was too far from their current abilities, it didn't recruit enough systolic blood pressure. Even if people could get very excited about something mentally, it simply didn't place their body into a state of readiness because it wasn't tangible that they could actually perhaps really achieve it. So it turns out that when goals were moderate, when they were just outside of one's immediate abilities, or that one felt that, that would take a lot of effort, but it's within range or maybe in range, like maybe I can do it, maybe I can't, then there was a near doubling of the systolic blood pressure in the good sense. It didn't go into the unhealthy range, and a doubling or more of the likelihood that they would engage in the ongoing pursuit of that particular goal. So here we're talking about goal setting. What we're saying is set goals that are realistic, but that aren't so realistic that they're easy. The goals need to be realistic and truly challenging. Don't set goals that are so challenging and so lofty that they crash that blood pressure system in the other direction and make you or anyone feel unmotivated. In hearing this, it makes sense, but I don't think I would have predicted it had they not done this very controlled study. I would have thought the loftier the goal, the bigger the goal, the more that it recruits the autonomic system and the more that people are likely to lean into the energy and effort to pursue and attain that goal. I also would have thought that if a goal is really easy to achieve, that it would engage the systems of action in the brain and body enough that people would sort of get into motion and pursue that goal. But neither is the case. Again, set goals that are difficult to achieve, but that are not so lofty that they collapse your system and that you feel overwhelmed. And the important thing here is that How we perceive a goal, whether or not we think it's within reach or not, of course will vary depending on whether or not we are rested, depending on whether or not other aspects of our life are going well. I mean, we can think that we are hot on the heels of a lifetime goal and everything's going well, and then there'll be some crisis, interpersonal crisis, or there'll be a health crisis and you'll be shut down, and then that goal seems very, very hard to attain. So we will talk about how to update goals under different contexts in a few minutes. But of course, this is going to be an averaging. This isn't something that you do just once. But the takeaway again is very simple. Set goals that are moderately hard to hard, but not so hard nor so easy that they don't engage your brain and body properly. Moderate goals are best if you want to achieve your goals. Now I'd like to talk about 3 particular areas of scientific study that point to goal pursuit, goal assessment, and goal achievement. Previously, I told you that it's great to foreshadow failure, that's a great way to get your system into a state of activation. I also told you that you want to set goals that are challenging but possible. And again, here I'm paraphrasing from the work of Emily Balcetis. I want to be very clear. There are a few other things that one can do in order to bias the likelihood that you will succeed in trying to achieve your goals. First of all, limit your options. Trying to pursue too many goals at once can definitely be counterproductive. Now, I realize that life is complicated. We all have multiple goals that we're trying to pursue. But if we have particular goals that are important to us, we have to be careful to not get distracted by other goals. And many people run into this problem. So setting 1 or 2 or maybe 3 major goals for a given year is going to be more than enough for most people and is actually going to be challenging for most people. Now, of course, we have daily goals and monthly goals and yearly goals, but if we have big, lofty goals, we need to be careful not to contaminate our mental space and our visual space with too many goals. And why do I say visual goals? Well, various department stores and supermarkets have discovered is that the greater the number of things in our visual attention, the more that we can draw our attention and our goals off a line of pursuit. What does that mean? Well, let's think about it in the practical context. This has actually been done. Big department stores have figured out that if they stock their shelves chock-a-block with many, many options of food or clothing items or objects or anything like that, people simply buy more stuff. People are very prone to orienting their attention to whatever's in front of them. You put a lot of stuff in front of them, their attention drifts. You put fewer things in front of them, their attention is more narrow. In a later episode, we'll talk about designing a workspace that's optimized on the basis of this. It doesn't mean being in a room with nothing except just your desk and a computer. It doesn't have to be that sparse, but visual sparseness actually can help us orient our focus and our behavior. When we have a lot of things in our visual environment or a lot of things in our cognitive environment, it's the same thing. And so if you're going to try and pursue a fitness goal, a relationship goal, an academic goal, and a long-term life financial goal all at once, that's 4 things. And you're going to have to come up with systems that allow you to isolate those goals in a very rigid way. And if you do have multiple interleaving goals and overlapping goals and simultaneous goals, in a few minutes, we're going to talk about a process that will allow you to use your visual system to align towards each of those goals sequentially in a way that makes it much more likely that you'll achieve.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to join our community and be the first to know about all the exciting videos we have planned for the future.